1, 2, 3. Not it. Not it. I was first. And my brother didn't look too happy about that. My brother looked at me with a frown and said, "Ugh, I always make a fire. It's your turn." But, don't matter. You were last. I was first. I responded back. My brother gets mad at me and says, "Dude, this isn't fair. You're gonna make a fire." I always do it. Like I'm always making a fire for the family. Exactly, I said. You're so good at making fires, bruh. You know, if I do it, the lazy piece of shit brother who doesn't care about anyone but himself makes the fire, I might not do it right. And I might, start a fire. That's good. We need a fire. My brother interrupts me. Not like that. I mean, like, I might burn down the house. You're not that stupid. I know what you're trying to do, and it ain't gonna work. My brother thinks I'm some fool, huh? Someone who can be just told what to do and when to do it. What is he, James? He really needs to take that stick up out of his ass. Though, I didn't want to start a fight, and I knew that we were about to start one. I also didn't want to start a fire, but something told me deep down, if I did this, I would be able to get on my brother's good graces. And maybe, get something in return for it. Okay, I know I shouldn't think like that, but something told me that helping someone out right now, even though I don't want to, means I might get something back in return. What is the saying? The more you give, the more you get. I don't know. It goes something like that. Anyways, I told my brother, fine, I'll start the fire, but you owe me. I tell Brad this as the situation is now finally settled. My brother looks at me with a raised eyebrow and a confused look. Really? He says. Yes, go ahead and play the game. But I still get it later though, right? I answer my brother while opening the wood stove and leveling out the ash layer on the bottom. My brother smiles and pats the top of my head. He says, "Thanks, buddy," and of course. As he then heads into the living room to start the game. I can hear the game start up as my brother grabs the controller and sits down on the couch. Now, I'm weird for this, at least I think I am, but it's probably very normal behavior. I'm someone who likes to know what everyone's doing around me. My brother was playing the game. My sister was in the kitchen cooking up hot wings. I could smell the grease bubbling from the fryer. My parents were in their room. They were probably watching Vampire Diaries and smoking a cigarette. That's what they do. My little brother, he told me he was playing with his Transformers earlier. That's probably what he's still doing. When you're a kid, your imagination's so wild that you can create a whole world with just your toys and have them fight epic battles inside your own mind, when really it's just you holding two different types of toys and smash them together to create this epic fantasy. Speaking of fantasies, what we were doing in the house was probably what millions of other people were also doing as well. People like to think that their lives are interesting, or that they're special or unique in some certain way. But reality is sometimes the buzzkill that ruins our fantasies of what we perceive ourselves to be. Okay, now moving on from the philosophical topic, let's move to Mr. Swift making a fire. I'm gonna just skip all the boring details of gathering kindling and leveling out the ash and figuring out what's dead and what's live wood. If you really want to know what dead wood is, it's light, brownish, grayish wood, and it's dead. It's just easier to burn that way. And live wood, well, it's green, and it's white, and it's heavier. And I don't know if you know this, but wood kind of sweats when it burns, and live wood sweats a lot more than dead wood. So dead wood's kind of key to building a fire. All this fire building stuff is interesting, huh? Well, I'm no chump. My parents never took me to Boy Scouts. They knew I would dominate it way too easily. Instead, my parents had a better idea. They taught me at a young age how to cook, clean, make a fire, hunt for food by either using a bow or a rifle. Plus teach me how to change a tire and do basic maintenance on a car, and other stuff. My stepfather said these things are how you become a man. If you ask me, Kid Swift here, I think back then he was getting his children to become mini men, or mini soldiers if you say, who can get stuff done around the house so he can focus on more important things like not working and letting his kids do all the work, like changing his tires on his own truck, which by the way sucked ass for me because he literally was like watching his young son struggle trying to get the damn lug nut off the tire with a socket wrench. He should have told me about leverage being the key to making a car maintenance so much easier. But no, he would rather watch me struggle first and then give me the answer afterwards because it helps build character, and you learn why it's important to have this knowledge so you know what not to do next time. That may sound great, but let's be real. I did the same thing he did to my employees I supervised over. Not because of the lesson, even though it's the correct socially acceptable thing to say and do, but because it's funny as fuck to watch them fuck up and then give them the helpful advice that makes yourself look like a genius after they hear the valuable teachings that you tell them. I know that sounds mean and wrong, but hey, it's like my old man used to tell me, it's not what you know, it's what you can prove. And my stepfather proved to me as a young boy that learning from mistakes is what people truly perceive more from that than really just watching people struggle. You know, my stepdad's always been an asshole, but he says he's an asshole with a heart. I don't know if that's true or not, I just think he's an asshole. I probably got some of that from him anyways. Back to the fire, I was placing the kindling down and getting balls of paper in there as well. It would help light the kindling, and I placed dead firewood above it. That way the flames would burn above. As I'm looking around, I realize I don't have a lighter. Ugh. I gotta go to my parents' room. Alright, here we go. I got up off the ground and walked towards my parents' door. I gave it 2 knocks and waited for the famous, "Come in." I entered the room, seeing my mom on the bed, watching Vampire Diaries. Yep. Ugh, fucking hate vampires. And I look to my right and I see my stepdad at the door, lighting a cigarette. "What you need, son?" my mother said. I looked over to my stepdad and said, "I need that lighter he has." "Why, boy?" James said. "To start a fire so we can all get warm." "What was that?" "I mean, sir, to start a fire." "That's better." He tosses me the lighter and says, "I better get that back, boy, or your ass is mine." Ugh, I thought to myself. I turn around and I hear the famous again, "Shut my door!" Ugh! I shut the door and close it. You know, I don't think I've ever left their room without hearing, "Shut my door," and the possible threat of getting my ass whooped if I screw up or something. I returned back to the wood stove and sat down and lit the piece of paper. It burned, and it caught the next piece of paper on fire. And as it was catching each other piece of paper on fire down the line, the kindling started to burn. And then the kindling would burn so hot that the flames would reach the dead wood above and they would begin to burn. Watching the magic of the fire burn was always fascinating to me. The reddish-orange flame is just very enticing not to gaze upon. I watched the fire burn, and I could feel the cast iron stove begin to heat up. I then hear the teapot whistle as it was sitting above the wood stove. As the water inside was beginning to boil and seep out the spout of the pot, the crackling fire and the warmth from the wood stove radiating on me was very comforting. I truly love the season of fall. Fires like these in your own home are just so relaxing. Plus the smell of the hot sauce and wings that my sister was cooking in the kitchen was also very nice. Makes my mouth water up just thinking about it. My sister came into the room that I was in and sat on the floor next to me. She was watching the fire as well and putting her hands up to try to catch warmth. "Ah, this is nice," she said. "Thank you for starting the fire, brother." My sister smiles at me and then she hands me a chicken wing with hot sauce on it. "What's this?" I asked. My sister laughs. "Here, try it. I made the hot sauce and I want to know if it's good or not. Plus if the chicken is good." I was excited to try it. I love hot wings, and my sister was always great in the kitchen. I tried the hot wing, and the first bite was always amazing. The savory flavor of the sauce with the heat and spice at the end was a nice kick. Plus the crispy skin and the tender chicken off the bone was so good. She really knew how to cook wings. "It's so good, sis. I don't think I have any corrections. It's perfect just the way it is." I looked at my sister and smiled, and I could see her with a big smile back. and her eyes were closed. She pats my head and says, "Thank you." "Well, if that's the case, the food will be done in a few minutes. Got one more batch of wings to cook." She then stands up and says, "Thank you," one more time for the fire, and then heads out. I got up as well and closed the door to the wood stove, and then sat down in the living room with my older brother. My brother Bradley was playing Skyrim. I knew that he was in Whiterun. He was at the blacksmith. "You almost there for the dragon armor yet?" I asked him. My brother sighs and shakes his head. "No, not yet, but I have over 100 iron ingots and leather strips, so I'm gonna make a fuck ton of daggers to hopefully try to reach my 90 skill cap for the 𝕄𝕣 armor, and then I'm going to enchant my daggers and then sell them back to hopefully make more money." "Whoa, 𝕄𝕣 armor?" I asked him. "What's that?" "You know those demonic looking guys with those red faces?" he said. "Yeah, I know them." "Remember their black armor they were wearing?" "Yeah." "Well, that's what I'm about to be able to make. That cool looking demonic armor. That shit's gonna be so sick." Wow! I thought that was so cool when he said that. I always thought my brother was really smart. He always knew how to get the game exactly the way he wanted to, and knew like tricks and stuff to get around the very, tedious things in games. Me and my brother continued to talk about the game, and then we could hear my sister say, "Dinner's done." My brother looked at me and said, "Are you ready to watch Naruto?" "Yeah!" "Who do you think is gonna win?" "I already told you," he said. "Sasuke. He's gonna whoop Naruto's ass." "No way. Naruto's gonna win." We both laughed and just couldn't wait to watch it. We turned on cable and we had the 2 episodes recorded. Back then we had DVR, which allowed us to record episodes while we were away from the TV. We didn't really have internet, but we had cable, so that's really how we got to watch it. We watched it on Adult Swim. I'm sure if anyone knows what that is, they know what I'm talking about. My brother was preparing the TV for the Naruto episodes. We had 2 episodes, so it was going to be a lot to watch for us. Back then, I would get so excited just for 2 episodes of one of my shows coming on that would basically have to wait a week just to watch. It'd always come out on Friday. But now, today, I could watch a whole series like on Netflix or Disney Plus, and I wouldn't really have to wait that long. I could just binge the season. The difference between modern me and back then me. Sometimes I miss the old days. My sister brought us plates of food, which looked absolutely delicious. White rice that was buttered, wings that were covered in hot sauce, and some green beans. It was just a complete meal. My little brother I could hear coming down the stairs. He had his Game Boy. He was playing Pokemon Silver. He was like, "Oh boy, food!" And he sat down on the chair. He put the Transformer Bumblebee right next to him, saying, "You can sit here." We ate in the living room, and my parents ate in their room. My sister brought them plates. That's just how it was. We would always be separated, but we lived together in the same house. To be honest, back then, I wish we would have always ate together. But that's just not how it was. We all sat together in the living room, though. I do love these moments. My sister was talking about Naruto. My little brother was discussing the other guys. Me and Brad were also talking about it. We were just trying to talk about who would win and who would lose, and as the episode plays, you can hear the Naruto opening theme, and we were all just laughing, and honestly just having a great time with each other. We were all laughing and eating the food, and I remember my brother saying, "Oh, this is so good, Emily." She would smile, and I knew she really appreciated it. I was like, "Hey, do you want those wings?" And my brother was like, I'll trade you your drumsticks for them." We'd always trade our wings because I preferred the flats and he preferred the legs. He thought you got more meat on the legs, but I didn't care. The wings were just better for me. My sister was like, "Hey, if you guys don't finish them, let me know." And we looked at her and said, "Okay, but we're probably going to finish them." She smiled. My little brother was talking to his Bumblebee saying, "You ready to watch Naruto?" And his Bumblebee would just look at the TV with that flat face from the manufacturer that made it. This may just be a normal day I used to have with my family, but posting this last part of the story really makes me miss these moments. Now living on my own and not seeing my siblings as much, I really miss them. I always hope they're doing well. my brother he was someone I always looked up to. My sister always took care of me. My little brother was like that younger, innocent version of myself that honestly never did any wrong. He was just the pinnacle of innocence. I was obviously the troublemaker who always caused issues. But I'm learning to be better, and I hope I can be better for them. I really love my siblings, and I wish I didn't throw away the time I had back then, but all I could think about were the childish notions of what I wanted versus what I needed. And what I needed was to be a better brother. As Dr. Seuss once said, sometimes you never know the value of a moment until it becomes a memory. Thank you so much for listening. I love you guys. I hope my siblings know that I'm gonna be better. And as always, eat your vegetables, wear your seatbelt, and be safe.